Here we go. We've got pre-algebra, unit 3 inequalities, day 3, multi-step inequalities. So the difference here is multi-step. It's not just a 1 or 2, but more than 2. So that means that we're either going to be taking care of parentheses by distributing or combining like terms before we box the variable term. So let's start with what we always do. Here's our inequalities. We've got the left side and the right side. Let's see how many terms have a variable. So here's a variable term, and these are not variable terms. So before I want to subtract 2 from both sides or subtract 11 from both sides, it's going to be easier to combine those because they're like terms. And remember, those are called constants. They will remain the same no matter what x is. They don't change. Okay, so we're going to combine those. This does not change yet. And 11 plus 2 is 13, and everything else drops. Okay, now I've got a two-step equation because I have 2 terms. I've got my variable term and my constant. And now I treat this just like a two-step. Subtract 13, drop, x divided by 4, and different signs differ. Please pay attention to that, and my negative is bigger. Okay, and we've got negative 9. Okay. And right here we've got x divided by 4. So 4, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to multiply both sides. And I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so that inequality is not going to flip. And that's negative 36. Okay, so now if we graph this, remember we are graphing the solution for x. Like what is a number that x can be? So I'm going to do this 0 and positive 36. So we want x to be less than negative 36. Well, first of all, we're open on 36 because we are not including it, so we're not closed. And pick a number that's less, like more negative. So more negative is going to be to the left. So that's our graph. And remember, you might draw your graph like this, and that's okay too. Okay, so let's take a look down here. Let's separate our left and our right side. Okay, now there's 3 terms here, and we don't want 3 terms. So let's check out how many terms have a variable. And there are 2 terms that have a variable. So we want to combine these. Pay attention. We just combine these by adding and subtracting, right? We've got a positive and a negative, so different signs differ. And my positive is bigger. And 4 minus 3 is 1, so that's going to be a positive 1x. You can put a 1 right there if you'd like. It doesn't really matter. I didn't do anything with that 11, so it's just going to drop. And here we go. We've got a 2-step equation. X plus 11 is greater than or equal to negative 10. Subtract negative 11, subtract negative 11. And x. Now don't go thinking 1 or negative 1 because same sign sum, and my negative is bigger. So x is greater than or equal to negative 21. Again, I'm going to mark negative 21. I'm going to mark 0, and I'm going to put a positive 21. So I've got a positive and a negative. I know where they are. And x, my solution can be something bigger than, so that it wants to eat the x. Something bigger than 21, the x could be here. So we're going to be closed this time because it's equal to. We are including this 21, negative 21 as an answer. And we're going this direction. And don't forget to draw that arrow because it does continue on. Okay, and let's go here to C. Now this one's different because we've got a fraction and we've got 2 terms in the numerator. So if I were to box the variable term, I still have 2 things outside of it. So just remember that whole numerator, I can't just take the 6 out. So when I box the variable term, I'm going to box all of the numerator. Okay, that's all with the variable right now. So I can get rid of that 5. And if you're like, what is that 5 doing? Imagine this if it were just x over 5. What's the 5 doing? It's dividing, so we would multiply it. Okay, same thing. It's dividing, so we're going to multiply it. It only cancels out there. And if I multiply to that side, I multiply to this side. So then my 5 is the only thing I got rid of. 7x plus 6. 20 is less than 20. Now I have a 2-step equation. Okay, I can subtract. Sorry, you should probably figure out the left and the right side. Minus 6. 7x is less than 14. And these are multiplying. So I want to divide. cancel, cancel. I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so I do not have to flip that inequality. And I'm going to go 0, 2, and let's go with negative 2. X is less than 2. I'm going to go, we are not including 2 here, so that's open. Okay, and X is less than 2, so less than is this direction. 0 is less than 2, negative 2 is less than 2. And let's go on up here to letter D. Okay, so let's separate our left and our right side, and my left side has 3 terms. We don't want 3 terms, so we're going to go and box that. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to box that. I'm going to box, see if there's another term with variables. Nope, just one. And one thing you notice, we are subtracting a negative. So think about what we're going to do with subtracting a negative. Okay, these actually become positive. We can never exclude this negative. So when you box that variable term, make sure you include that. Okay, and we're going to combine these two right here. Well, one is a negative, one is a positive. So we're going to subtract. And then don't forget to ask yourself which one's bigger. 10 minus 5 is 5, and it is a negative 5. And since we chopped, it's plus x over 2 is greater than or equal to negative 7. And now we have our two-step. You can include the positive if you want or not. Positives can be either way. Let's say we do. And then I want to get rid of that 5, and since it's minus 5, we're going to add 5 and add 5. I hope you're all recognizing different signs differ right away, so we know we subtract different signs. And my negative is bigger. And I did not multiply or divide by a negative yet. Well, I won't, not even yet, I won't. We're dividing, so we're going to multiply that 2, multiply that 2, and x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Don't forget to pay attention to that negative, because a negative times a positive, oops, is a negative. Here we go, and let's go 0, negative 4, positive 4. So since this is equal to, we're going to include the negative 4 in this one, so we're closed. We're saying yes, negative 4 can be an answer. And we want to be numbers greater. We want to solution, so we want to shade numbers bigger than negative 4. And that's direction. Don't forget your arrow. And our last one here. Okay, finally the parentheses. So remember with parentheses, we distribute. And think what's touching that negative 2. Make sure you're including the negative 2. And I like to circle it so that we don't forget it. And then we're going to draw our rainbow. Okay, so my 7 I'm not doing anything with. I'm just going to drop that. Negative 2x times x. Negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Don't accidentally say negative 6. Don't add on accident. And now I'm going to separate that left and right side, which I should have done up here. And now I still have 3 terms on this left side. So I'll box that variable term and see if there's another one. There's not another variable term, so I can combine these two. If you notice, they are different signs. This is a positive 7, and that's a negative 8. And my negative is bigger, so different signs differ. So I've got negative 1 minus 2x. And if you want to write negative 2x minus 1, that's all right as well. Negative 9. Okay. Now I have a 1-step because I have 2 terms. I'm going to add that 1, add this 1. Negative 2x. Different signs differ. My negative is bigger. 9 minus 1 is 8. And right here, this is negative 2x times x. Don't add because this is multiplication. Okay, this is not subtracting. So we're going to divide negative 2, divide negative 2. Make sure that's a negative. And what did I just do? I divided by a negative. So I've got to flip that inequality. So x is greater than 4. So I'm going to put 4 up there. I'm going to put 0, and I'm going to put negative 4. Okay, the numbers you put up there really aren't important. I just like to locate a positive and a negative. X is greater than 4. We are not including it, so we're going to be open on 4. And numbers that are greater are going to be to the right. There we go.